The newly elected school committee held its first caucus to vote for the next chair and vice chair for the upcoming term. In a 5-3 vote, Tamika Olszewski was voted in as the new chair, and in a tie-breaking vote by Mayor Fuller, Kathy Shields is the next vice chair. Here's the nomination speeches from the chair and vice chair.
So first and foremost, I have to say I have the deepest respect and admiration for Emily Brenner. We joined the school committee at the same time, we campaigned together, and she knows she has my deep respect. But I wanted to say that publicly, as is my way. So to be honest, I haven't actively sought this position, and I wouldn't have said that being chair was something that I wanted. However, it's become more and more apparent to me that in order to change the direction of the school committee and help build a strong foundation for the Newton Public Schools, that I needed to be in a position of leadership. It's clear that I couldn't effectively advocate for the change without being willing to roll up my sleeves, do the hard work, and be an agent of the change that I seek. So thank you, Chris, for the nomination. I accept, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be considered. Over the course of my time on the school committee, you've all seen me be open, honest, thoughtful, and firm in my manner and my disposition. I've called for greater transparency, better communication, and a process that reflects the care and consideration that we infuse into each of our decisions. I've been willing to ask the hard questions without reservation, without fear, and I welcome public scrutiny as a necessary component of the effective functioning of this committee. I want this committee to also be open and honest and deliberative and inclusive of differing perspectives. In short, I want this committee to operate better. I think in order to do that, we need to have less of a formal and more of a conversational tone. We need to analyze critically the data that comes before us. We need to embed measurable improvements to routinely evaluate our success against goals. We need to include members and consult with them contemporaneously and inform them of decisions as they are being made. We need to encourage differing perspectives. And we need to follow up. This one's a small point, but it matters. Follow up on open threads of conversation from our meetings, from one meeting to the next. Over this next year, I will look to do my part to work with the administration and infuse an urgency to our strategy of closing the achievement gap while continuing to improve Newton's overall academic excellence. I believe we should commit to addressing burdensome school fees because roughly 20% of our students are economically disadvantaged and receiving free and reduced lunches. Additionally, we have a lot of planning for the future, and to ensure our capital improvement plan prioritizes our most needed school buildings. Whether elected chair or not, these issues are incredibly pressing, and I will gladly invest my time and energy to them in the next school term. Now, again, deep respect and admiration to Emily Brenner, and deep respect and admiration and welcome to all of you. And I think we're going to have a really productive time together.
I don't take this on lightly, but I've been thinking quite a lot over the last several weeks about the direction in which we want to move and how to incorporate the views of all of us. The situation where we have half new members is very much the situation that I was part of when I joined the school committee 4 years ago. And I have some fairly definite thoughts about aspects of that process that worked well and aspects that did not. And I think I can rely on that experience and my views about those procedures to help us come together and bond as a group and learn how to work effectively with our administration. Over my time on the school committee, I have demonstrated again and again my ability to collaborate with people of many differing views, to take into account information from many different sources, and to combine that information together and those points of view into effective solutions towards our problems. I'm a good listener, I'm a good summarizer of information, and I've put that into practice. So over the last year on the collective bargaining team, when it became clear that the committee wanted more insight into that process, I took on the role of summarizing each of our collective bargaining sessions for the committee and paying attention to privilege and other legal requirements of disseminating information, wrote summaries for the entire school committee of each of our collective bargaining sessions so that no one was surprised and everyone understood where we were at each point in time. I think those kinds of activities are the things we need to do more of. We need to make sure that we can all work effectively together and that we meet and get to know as a group the administrators on whom we will rely. That's a big part of being part of this board, is learning how to work with the administration, learning how to effectively get our questions answered, to get more information when we need it, and to give our feedback about things we think they are doing right and things that we think need to change. As vice chair, I would strive to be an effective mediator in those conversations and an effective disseminator of information. I think that is lending that support to the chair is the vice chair's role, and I would look forward to doing that should you choose me to serve as your vice chair.